Hello, this is the Year 11 information evening for our Year 11 students this year, and this is the English presentation. I'm currently acting head of English, and we've got a fantastic team of teachers. You would normally meet them this evening, but obviously circumstances change, so we've got a list there, but your children will know who their teachers are, and any problems that you have or information that you need, please contact them. They're more than willing to help you and support you. The English language course content has remained the same this year. There's been no changes to the exams, and as you can see, we have component 1 and component 2. We've got reading 20th century prose, which is an hour exam where they'll read a fictional text and answer questions, and then a creative writing element, which is when they'll write their own narrative story, and that's 45 minutes, and that's worth 40%. Component 2 is a 2-hour exam, and again it's a reading 19th and 21st century non-fiction texts for an hour, and then writing 2 transactional writing tasks for the other hour, and that's worth 60%. So the writing parts of the exams are important, and we do recommend that students practice their SPAG, spelling, and also reading something at home would really help in their preparation for their exams this year. The language content, speaking this in, your students have already done this, so that's all signed, sealed and delivered and ready to go for next year. We did that at the end of year 10, so that's all been completed. The literature content has changed this year. The component 1 was a 2-hour exam with Shakespeare or Romeo and Juliet, an essay and extract question, and the poetry anthology. And the reason that's in red is because that element has been removed from the curriculum this year, so we won't be teaching poetry anthology, and your students will not be sitting that exams this year with that included. Everything else remains the same. We're still studying Blood Brothers and A Christmas Carol as well. They will get a diet of poetry because the unseen poetry is still on the exam. So any students who wish to go into further education to do literature, they will still get a diet of the approach to poetry and how to analyse and write a response to poetry as well. So they will get the unseen poetry, but not the anthology this year. And they'll have to compare poems as well, as said on there. That's worth 60% of the qualification, and the first part is worth 40%. We haven't had feedback yet on how the exam will work in terms of the hours, whether they'll move through the unseen poetry to where the anthology poetry was, but as soon as we know, we'll let you know as well. The support that we offer, as you can see, is fairly comprehensive. We have option English, will be on your students' timetable already. We have 5 hours of core English per week. We have one-to-one and small group tuition, and that's a regular timetable that we change each week depending on the needs of a particular student. We have after-school enrichment and support. Ours English is meal on a Monday night, but other staff do have them on separate nights as well, and your children will know when they are as well. At the moment, we're also putting revision material onto the Google Classroom for your children each week for them to do. It is sort of voluntary, but we would recommend they do it just to keep abreast of the literature text particularly. We do tutoring in BMG time, which is to do with language, spelling and grammar mainly, and we do that twice a week for 20 minutes, smaller groups, to support them with the basic literacy skills that are quite a big element in the exam itself. We do offer half-term interventions, and we'll probably run those in 2021. We haven't sorted those out yet, but we have run those every year. As you can see, theatre trips is in red. We would offer those normally, but obviously due to circumstances beyond our control, that can't happen this year. So what we have done is subscribe to a digital theatre where students can access Romeo and Juliet recorded live on stage for them to watch. It's free. They've all got passwords that have also been put on Google Classroom, so they can access those performances. It's not ideal, it's not what we want to do, but in the circumstances, it's a really good resource that your students, we would like to encourage them to watch that, because it's a fantastic way to watch the plays. Ways in which you can support at home: encourage your son or daughter to complete all of the activities on the English literature revision timetable. Encourage your son or daughter to revise by reading and watching versions of the key texts for literature exams. They need to know these texts inside out and back to front. A large element of the exam would require them to answer a question without having the text in front of them. So knowing what happens, knowing the characters, knowing quotes are going to be really, really important, particularly those who are pushing to the really higher grades. Encourage your children to attend after school support sessions and holiday revision sessions. I mean, they tend to be much smaller groups, so the one-to-one you know, they get that one-to-one time with a teacher that they wouldn't normally get in classrooms. There are other revisions online material that can use as well. The BBC Bitesize, OGAT revision websites as well that they will have access to. And they're also being posted on Google Classroom, so they can access those as well. And also any personalised spend lists that your children have. They've all got the data 30 in their planner, so that if that is an area that they need to work on, they can do that at home at their leisure. The revision timetable does look some. This is one that we had last year, but we've updated the new one. But it's the same thing, sort of half an hour text that they can look at, half an hour task, should I say. Sometimes watching YouTube, sometimes it's making character cards. Sometimes there's a text that we'll put in, and as you can see, that this what we did last year, but it's exactly, we've just to update the dates this year, which is the same thing, and these are being posted on Google Classroom regularly, so students can access those. You know, we would like students to participate, and they can work and send any work they do back on Google Classroom, and we'd love to see it. Thank you for watching. Your support as ever is invaluable to us as a department. And if you have any queries about this presentation or any aspect of your child's progress throughout the year, please feel free to contact our amazing teacher who'll be happy to discuss these with you. Thank you very much.